welcome to the Swift Half, your weekly session of chat from the UK OCR and adventure running scene. Each week, pub landlord Alan and our favourite regular Ian discuss races, runners and anything else that comes to mind. So pull up a pew, pour yourself a drink and join us for the Swift Half.
Ian, my friend, welcome to the Swift Half again. How are you?
I'm great, Alan. What a interesting time of year it is. I don't know what the weather's like in Yorkshire, and we talk about the weather way too much, but we are British, so we're allowed to. I swear I've had the four seasons, and we're on Friday, and I've had everything. I've had rain, I've had hail, I've had sunshine, well, a little bit of sunshine, I've had wind, I've had locusts, I think at one point. What about yourself?
But frogs coming down from the sky. No, I'm with you. I'm with you on this. It's been a very strange week for the weather, and it's even worse when you drive to work. Well, I mean, I don't drive to work. So, as you know now, new job in Sheffield. I drive to a place called Onewell, catch a train in Sheffield, walk from the train station to where I work. And I'm not sure what days. I think it was Monday, or it might have been Tuesdays. But it was very warm when I set off. So I drove to work, drove to the train station, got on the train, went to work, and all I took with me was just a really flimsy jacket, like a waterproof rain jacket. I came out of work at 5 o'clock here, and it was not only was it raining and pouring down, great for the wind jacket, but it was freezing cold as well. I'm sure it had dropped to like 19 degrees or something like that from the usual 25 we've been having for the last few weeks. So yeah, I had to freeze to death and walk to the train station. Not an happy bunny.
Not happy, bunny. And then when you're in the train, when you're soaking wet, it's not good because everyone else is wet as well, and everyone smells a little bit like wet dog.
I get that. I actually came home and went to Paul. I went, didn't like that train ride today. It was very smelly. Some very smelly people on it. And probably that was just me.
Well, I'm not going to make a anti Yorkshire joke. I'm coming back on them now. We're on YouTube. I realize that the audience is increasing. We already have a good audience, but it's increasing in numbers, and we might soon be found out by people who have no clue what this show's about, and we could get clipped. So, listener, it will probably last for maybe another couple of weeks, but I'm trying to avoid the anti-Yorkshire jokes.
I think you're right, as in getting more awareness on YouTube, because normally in a week, I would say I probably get 5 emails a week from someone saying, you need to promote your podcast. Please, can I send you a report of how to promote your podcast? And I just bin them straight into spam, just bin them, whatever. But now I am getting 7 or 8 a day, Ian. Literally 7 or 8 a day being sent to me saying, can I send you a report to increase your YouTube presence, blah, 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 blah. No, you can't. Don't send me nothing. I'm not. So if you're listening to this, and I bet they don't even listen to them, a bit some algorithm somewhere that pulls it up. Don't send me. I don't want your help. We will do it our natural self. We've grown independently and organically, and we will continue to do that. I don't want to buy no listeners. We don't want to buy no watchers. People who watch us and listen to us like to watch us and listen to us.
Yeah, more to the point, we're not paying you anything. Yeah, if you want to work for free, that's fine. Absolutely. Come, you can come on and the same salary as everyone else. It's fine, but we ain't paying you anything. I still get a lot of them through the UK HXR Instagram, and when they say we can work with any budget, as soon as I say our budget's zero, they go away and block me. I don't know, but
We
I
don't
was
want
going
to
to
talk
say,
to us.
yeah, I thought, Alan, before we get into what you're drinking, I'm going to have to tell you where I was drinking on Sunday.
Oh, where was you drinking on Sunday?
I was in Rochdale, and there's a little bar there, but me and Jen have been in a few times. You know, when you go into a place a few times, and then you just sit there, and something just clicks in your head that you haven't realized before.
Yes, often, because I don't often look around, and then I do look around and I see something new.
Well, this bar, and you can look it up, it's called the Lucky Duck Bar.
Okay, yeah.
There is duck paraphernalia everywhere. There are, the little rubber duckies, little plastic ducks all over the place. You've got duck posters. You've got things that say, "Do I look like I give a duck?" Which I didn't know that people gave out ducks here and there, but who knows? But I was thinking it may not be big enough, but how cool would it be for the OCR Awards?
Oh, that'd be cool. Oh, yeah. The UKOCR Awards at the Lucky Duck.
That the Lucky Duck. I'm not sure it's quite big enough because it is a bit small downstairs. I'll say it's got about 4 tables, but then upstairs it does have a pool table. So yeah, we could make it work. Or more to a point, you can come and visit sometime because surely you need to take this one off your list.
Without a doubt, need to anything that's duck related, as you know, Ian. I've got to go and visit and see it. There is oh, what's that pub that I went to once? It was actually called the Muddy Duck, and I can't remember where it was. I've got a strange feeling it was down in Dan Lister's area, somewhere down that area when me and Paula went down to is it not some on Tweed, some river or sort of Burton on Trent.
Probably Berwick upon Tweed,
Was it?
or I don't
Yeah,
know. Burton on Trent is Midlands, but who knows?
who knows?
They have some really cool names down there. And again, I'm not insulting any other county. No insults to Yorkshire, no insults to any other county. But yeah,
What are we going to
it
do for the rest of the
was.
show if you're not insulting an county, Ian?
I've no clue. We'll figure it out. Hopefully, I don't know. Is the door open?
Oh, the door is open, and actually, 1 second, here comes Becky and Wil.
Hey, yes, it's me, Becky and Wil. We're back from Scotland, from the big weekend, Tough Mudder Infinity, and of course the one-day Spartan trifecta.
It was amazing. It was the first time I've been up to Scotland. Becky, I think you were there last year?
Yeah, I went to Scotland last year. It was the Beast race. I think it was in the UK OCR series as well as the Spartan National Series. So it was pretty popular actually. And that was obviously the longer one. This time I ran the super distance, but there was the trifecta. So lots of people doing all 3 races. Tons of people doing it actually.
Yes,
what did you do?
Loads. I was there. I did the 15 and the 5 on the Saturday, and then I run the super on the Sunday. But let's talk more about the super, Becky, because that's more interesting than anything else right now.
That's all I know about, really. Yeah, I ran the super. It was 8 o'clock start. I remember the year before we were worried about the queue for registration, but it was great this time. But it did start raining on the start line. Obviously,
Becky,
the weather was...
look, let's not talk about maps. What is the most important thing? Because we are obviously co-presenters on Who's Hot, so come on, let's talk about the super properly.
Well, I was very happy to win. Some of you have noticed, and I mentioned it before after I came second in the last race, that I've never actually won a Spartan race. I have won several races in my 10 years, but this one has eluded me. I've always obviously entered Spartan races and not actually done as many of them over each year because they're quite expensive and hard to fit into the schedule and stuff. So this year, obviously I'm on the Spartan national team, so I'll be doing all of the series races, so getting more practice in. So I guess I've been focusing on it a bit more and trying to not shy away from things that I've been bad at historically. Probably hills and carries come into that mix, and sometimes a bit of running speed. So yeah, I was really happy to win my first Spartan race. I've been doing them since I think 2017. The first one I just entered I think it was at Aston Down. Did you ever do that one? Southwest.
Oh yes, that was the long bucket
there were
carry.
So many carries.
Yeah.
I remember doing okay at the start, and then so I'd already joined Nuclear at that time. We were called Team Phoenix, then became Nuclear Phoenix, and And I remember everyone telling me on the team, "Oh, this is a proper obstacle course race. This is for competitive people. This is a harder obstacle course race." Talking about Spartan, and I was like, "Great, fantastic." I had running and gymnastics background. I was like, "Okay, this is going to be cool. It's going to be hard." And then I did it, and in the middle of the race, I was like, "What the hell? Why am I walking? I'm walking in a race. I don't understand," because I was just not very strong. And I remember being overtaken by Sarah walking faster than me, carrying something heavy, and there being like 7 or maybe 9 carries in the super.
Yeah.
And there's been like some kind of nettles or some other type of plant that people were talking about. And yeah, I think I ended up 11th. I got overtaken on the last like massive wall, literally right before the finish line. And yeah, I just entered the main race because I wanted to see how it stacked up. And I was like, oh, so this carrying thing is... So then it got in my head a bit for like probably 9 years.
And this was, Becky, this was the time when you had to... Because I remember Ascendana, it was either the first one or the second one, but it was the long carry through kind of a demolished house, wasn't there? But this was a time when they made you put the bricks in the bucket yourself.
Yeah, I had to like scoop them in. I feel like I carried 2 sandbags at once, 2 pancakes maybe, I don't know.
Probably.
But it felt really hard. So from that point to winning the like elite national series, which should be one of the most competitive races, and it was, we had international athletes there. The Swiss national team athlete Lara, and then the Czech national team athlete Blanka, who beat me last time, just like 3 or 4 weeks ago. So they came second and third. So actually it was, you know, to come that far, and obviously now we've got some courage. If you haven't watched the video yet, Spartan did a quick like 90-second turnaround of some moments from the race for the men's and the women's races. They'll be doing that for the whole national series in the UK, which is cool. But yeah, when I watched it back, I was like, oh my god, look at me going with the chain. I'm running with the train. What the? Who is she? So yeah, when I reflect on it like that from the start to the end, and I am pretty proud of that. You know, I look like a bit of a different athlete. I feel like a bit of a different person. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Very
amazing.
happy to.
And of course, you know, we've been co-presenters now for 4 seasons now, but there's definitely a mindset, and your body has changed, so you're definitely stronger, but you've definitely got this mindset this year as well. There is a change in you this year. You've always been a fantastic competitor, and you've always been up there, but there's definitely a switch there somewhere.
Thanks. Yeah, and I do like to tell people that, you know, you've got to believe in yourself, and I feel like I have generally done that, but Spartan race for me has been one that I found harder to believe in myself for. So I think this year, I don't know, it's probably with the marathon training and kind of making like significant progress there. I just felt up for it, like in terms of the running speed. You know, I've always been behind some of the fastest runners in Spartan, but I felt like I had leveled up in terms of the running speed, and with the timing of it being quite close to that peak time. And I've just been a lot more settled this year in myself. Like I haven't traveled as much and done anything too wild since Antarctica. But yeah, I just felt like I always had more focus. It's going to be hard to maintain it, I think. Obviously, there's been some key athletes missing as well, so we'll see what happens when all that comes into the mix. But yeah, definitely feels different, and I'm pleased to be having the benefits.
And I think maybe our other co-presenter, Finn, has got something for this, because some of that confidence that he has definitely rubbed off on you, I think, Becky. So
he is very confident, yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the map on the Super now, because I was looking at my watch that I'm making really good time. Nice trails, not too hilly, which I think, as you mentioned, it probably kind of goes into more of your strengths. Ape Hanger was on the 10K, which not normally on the Beast, is it?
Yeah, but we didn't have Twister. But yeah, the Ape Hanger on the 10K is quite a nice surprise, and it actually did feel quite demanding. Like it's quite long obstacle, and some of those gaps, especially in the women's race, they feel really big. Like you have to really commit to the movements. So it's not easy. And actually there were quite a few, you know, suspension obstacles with good. I think everyone really loved the course. Like that's the best feedback I've had about a course in ages, especially on the Super. I'm not sure about the others, but it felt compact enough with a lot of obstacles, with a nice section in the middle where it was quite technical. So we had the Ape Hanger, and just before that was Bender. Then we had P-bars, parallel bars. Parallel bars, Olympus, Beta. Those three were like kind of back to back as well. And before that we had Z walls as well. So that did actually feel like, and you could see it on the map because they shared the map before, of course.
Yes.
And so it did stick to what it said pretty much. And that bit looked like a really good section, and I could imagine where it would be and what it would look like. And then there's that technical downhill through the trees, which is like probably the hardest bit of running. And then yes, a nice incline hill, but I think a couple of the guys just didn't turn left at the sign, so that there was a bit of confusion in the men's race. So they had some catching up to do, and one person dropped out. But yeah, it was pretty clear in the same route as the year before. And there's a really nice trail back through the trees, and then you go into the sea and back into the field, and you get to Mudderhorn. I mean, what's it called?
Hold on. You've gone too far because.
What was the question?
That bloody chain carry.
Mm.
I don't know whether it was in the same spot as last year, but that was bloody long.
Yeah, it was long. It was longer than last year. It was in the same spot, but we literally just went around the trees. We didn't go into the sea. But last year we did go kind of onto the beach at the very far end, which you would have done on the beast where the armor carry was. We did that last year. So the chain carry, when I went around it, I was like, oh, this is longer. And you saw, if you watched the video, Tom struggling to get out. It was pretty muddy, and it was like that last year. I remember that being hard and thinking, yes, I need to carefully do that because you're carrying a chain.
And then up the hill to the last couple of kilometers, when this is where I felt sorry for the trifecta people, because actually it was tough. Just doing the one race was tough, but Olympus, capital A frame, which was Mudderhorn, which is that was nice.
Yeah.
Then what was it?
Vertical cargo net.
That's it. Inverted cargo net. Inverted wall came later. Sandbag carry into spear throw.
Wait, you missed a carry. Atlas stone carry. This bit was intense, and I looked at it. I had a little sneak peek, and I was like, "This is going to be hard work." And then, like you say, it's back-to-back obstacles, not like Euros, but back-to-back strength obstacles. Mm-hmm. The Atlas stone, then carry on. Yeah. So go on, tell them about the spear throw.
So I got it somehow, but no, it was sandbag carry into spear throw. You then had to carry your sandbag back, and then you was almost straight into the bucket carry into the Herc hoist.
And that was quite a long bucket carry. It was like downhill, uphill with Herc
and then back
hoist.
Uphill. Yeah, with the Herc hoist, and then it was into inverted
rope climb.
Rope climb. Yeah. So it was all just strength and arm, and as you say, different from the rigs, but definitely tiring people out. And then there was quite another kind of 1K loop, wasn't there? To to the mud, Kiss of Mud with Bob Wycor, sorry.
They're like 3 wall things in a row. You have to full on commit to those to get up, and then the strength carries. By the time I finished that, I was running hard because I was being chased. But my shoulders were tired, like from those carries, and I thought, oh my god, I actually have to make sure I don't mess my feet up on this rope climb because I need all the strength that I can get at the moment. And then the next thing's the big crawl, and it's the barbed wire, and then there's 2 more suspension obstacles after that. So you don't want to underestimate those, because it was starting to rain as well in our race, and those scaffolding bowls can get pretty wet, slippy.
With the I just about hit the multi-rig, and it's probably the first time with the nunchuck that I've made to do that. But the monkey bars, because it had been raining in between when you'd gone out and I'd gone out, and I almost slipped off. The actual guy that was right behind me, he slipped off, and I managed just to jump in front of him. But those scaffold bars are just awful when they're wet.
Yeah, and there was 3 going up, wasn't there? And then a couple of down ups. So those, you need some big swings for those, and that's when you feel slippy.
And what do you think because it was then 300 meters, maybe 200 or 300 meter sprint to the end? Would you prefer to have the multi-rig closer in, so you've got something going on right before the fire jump?
Yeah, or even just the monkey bars. If you remember Spartan Southwest last year, there were 2 sprint. No, year before. Sorry, last year I was injured. The year before, there were 2 sprint finishes where you saw 4 people, 2 lots of 2, racing each other on the monkey bars in just the women's elite race. And you watched that. I remember you shouting at me, and that was an even faster finish, because it was like, who's gonna get on first, how like this is the fastest you ever see people do the monkey bars, then you're full on sprinting. Like I wasn't sprinting that fast at the finish, even though it was downhill into the finish because I was driven to it. So yeah, I think the monkey bars could have been maybe by the finish. The rig, yeah, but
Yeah.
I'd rather have something that more people are going to complete, maybe.
Yeah, but I think as you said earlier, I really enjoyed that 10K race. There's a bit of everything. It wasn't overly hilly. I'm glad I didn't have to do the trifecta. I know Das finished his trifecta, and so did Selena and many others. I'm sure there's going to be a wall of fame out there. But I really enjoyed that 10K. It really was kind of right on the edge of not being stupidly hard, but also just not being a walk in the park, as it were.
Yeah, and it's meant to be a race, and that's kind of what we missed out. Actually, some of us the week before at the Europeans, obstacle course resting. So it was a race. I was breathing hard. I know Blanca said her heart rate was mega high right from the start because it went straight up that hill. I was concerned about that. I did look at my heart rate afterwards. It was like 170, but that's sustainable for me. So yeah, I was working hard. It was a race. Prize money on the line for the series. Yeah.
And then of course the day before, which was kind of the main event, of course for me, the main event, it was Tough Mudder. So there was an Infinity, and I saw Grant running the Infinity. I think he won. Nikki Karumba, last year's World Toughest Mudder, she was also there. She won the female, came second overall. And
they both did Sunday too.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
Mega double day.
Crazy. Arctic Enema wasn't there, and Block Ness for the first time in quite a while wasn't there. But there was Hydrophobia, which was nice to make a return. Of course, there was a few obstacles that kind of was crossover from Spartan. So your Z wall is it Chameleon Climb or something like that, and so there was some good ones. But actually, even though I didn't do the Beast, I think there was enough of a difference for people like myself that like to do both races, that it was interesting enough. But the big thing, Becky, and I know you're really interested, was that the very first World's Toughest Mudder piece was released. And last year in Scotland, Bobby, the MC, had a T-shirt, and the piece was on there. So I know Michelle Carney and Sam Gascoigne went and kind of searched his body. I don't think it was for the puzzle piece. I think they just like to touch his body. But they went to speak to Bobby. But in the actual Tough Mudder pledge, they added the new line to give you the hint, and it was something like, and I will know that Kiss of Mud will puzzle me.
You would have noticed that. Everyone knows that.
Absolutely,
off by heart. So
it
was a race to the puzzle piece, do you think, or no?
Well, I went over so I found it, and I took the photo. So hopefully one of the first people with the puzzle piece. Actually, though, Becky does not tell us anything right now. There's nothing, and over the next couple of weeks before we get towards Surface Mudder, lots more puzzle pieces will be out there. And for map people like yourself, you'll be able to then have a look, see what's going on. Of course, work out cryptically what all those words mean, and maybe give Das some advice before a couple of weeks' time.
Well, I did say hello to lots of the lovely Tough Mudder ambassadors at the weekend. I went around on Saturday evening to say hello, and I was like, has anyone got any tips? What can you tell me? Desperate. Like, tell me anything. But I see you've got another podcast. Plug the podcast. And I've sent it to Das to listen onto his drive on the way back from Scotland.
Oh, please don't, because I think I've bet against him on the podcast.
Maybe that works. But yeah, lots of helpful people. And so, have you got your puzzle piece right now? Can you show it to us?
I can. He says, maybe.
I've got a lot to learn. I've got a lot to learn also about trifecta medals. Didn't know they were really a thing for once.
So that was the other thing, that the trifecta medal for everyone there.
So it says something like legend or something like. Oh yeah, okay. Obstacles. I can see a key and the word obstacles. That's good. There's going to be obstacles at WTM, everyone.
Oh yes,
Exclusive.
we should hope so. Otherwise, it's Equinox 24.
Yeah.
Yes. So one of my friends, Selena, she did the trifecta in the day, and there's the new hex pieces, and there was a special exclusive Scotland trifecta hex piece for those that did the trifecta.
Okay. Good to know. Yeah, I did chase it around. I was spectating the trifecta and made it to my flight in time, so that was a pretty big day out. Yeah.
It was a hell of a day out. Anything else you want to go talk about Scotland before kind of Ian and Alan chuck us back out of the pub?
Well, there's always more to say, but I'll save that for a real life chat with you all.
Cool. Right, we better go off. We better go train. See you later, Alan. See you, Ian.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye. I will say, Alan, there is a reason I call them those pesky Who's Hot crew. They don't half go on a bit, do they?
They're in, they're out. We didn't even get a word in edgeways, Ian. We didn't even get a word in edgeways.
Completely and utterly derailed the show in a way. We didn't even get to chat about, what we're drinking, and they didn't even mention results. You'd think they may have mentioned that, but anyway, Alan, I guess the professionals are not available, so me and you will have to deal with that. Firstly, what are you drinking?
Oh, I'm on alcohol-free cider again, strawberry and lime this week. I don't know if I had strawberry and lime or berries last week, but the Alska alcohol-free cider, Swedish premium cider that's alcohol-free, Ian. So, yeah, strawberries and lime this week. That's what I'm drinking, and I'm enjoying it, actually. What are you drinking?
I'm getting ready for Wimbledon because it's that time of year. I know it's a way off yet, but we're into the summer. We've got Wimbledon. So I'm on a Robinson's because nothing says Wimbledon like Robinson's. So we are Robinson's. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it yet. It is orange and mango. And I was it's a new flavor, by the way. We're not sponsored by Robinson's, just so you know. Although we have agreed to be sponsored. We're just waiting for them to maybe answer. But anyway, it's orange and mango. And I was thinking when I was picking this out, when did mangoes become a common fruit in the UK? I know we don't grow them over here, but when did it just become something that was there?
Ian, we're getting that much fruit coming into this country. I don't know what's grown in this country and what's not. I watched an article on, I think it was Good Morning TV today while it was in the background while I was, or yesterday it was in the background while I was working from home. And they were talking about vegetables and how people are not eating fresh vegetables because we're buying vegetables out of supermarkets which are grown abroad and it takes them 3 or 4 days to get here. And they're actually cheaper than vegetables that are grown here in the UK. And that's because the farmers in the UK need to charge more. It's just crazy. But the fruit, going back to the fruit thing, that's the thing, that everything is now imported. So much things are imported into this country, and fruit being one of them, that it just becomes the norm. We saw coconuts in Aldi the other day.
Coconuts in Aldi.
In Aldi, I was in Aldi and there was coconuts for sale. Now, yeah, it beggars, but I don't know, Ian. It just beggars belief for this fruit. Everything is tiger fruit, not tiger fruit. What was that one that was really strange? I saw the other day, got all knobbly bits, and I can't remember what it was called now. It's going to come back to me later. But there's so many different
Dragon
fruits.
fruit?
Yes.
Yeah, you've got dragon fruit. Although so much of this new fruit, I have no idea how to peel it or eat it. You just see it there and it's like, oh, that looks good, but I don't know whether to eat it, peel it, or use it for the latest Home Alone movie.
I get that. I just have apples, pears, and oranges. Oh, and the bananas. That's 4 fruits that I stick to all the time.
Where do you think in the UK they make our banana supply? Because I've never seen them in the wild. So what do you reckon? Do you reckon it's up there in Scotland or maybe down in Cornwall? Where's our banana collection grown?
It's Scottish Highlands. I've got visions now of sort of is it Shetland? One of the Outer Hebrides in Shetland being like this oasis of palm trees or banana trees. They're like palm trees, I think, aren't they? With all these bananas hanging from them. Maybe even the coconut trees as well, and that's where Aldi's getting them from. So, yeah.
Speaking of Highlands, and we will get back to results, listener. We're not going to completely derail the show. Well, possibly. But did you see on social media Boland's farm? Has that come
No,
up in your feed yet?
it hasn't. No, Boland's Farm. What's that?
It's a farm in Stirling, and usually they get, I'd say, they do okay on socials. They do about 30 likes on something, something like that. But they posted something this week that went quite viral, and I'm going to read it to you. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Unfortunately, I hadn't sent this, so you can't put it on. It's not Boland's Farm. See, this is how good they were at socials. It's actually Raw Head Farm, is what it's called. And they, again, I presume you've not heard of them.
No, no, I haven't.
There is a farm in Stirling, and okay, this, like I say, the post before this got 183 likes, but I think this has contributed. This post has got 43,600 likes, 4,000 shares, 5,000 comments, and it just appeared on my feed. And it says as follows: There'll be no alpaca walking on the next Sorry, I'll start again. There'll be no alpaca walking on for the next couple of weeks, as Elvis is a twit at the moment, but they didn't use the word twit. And that, I don't think we get it on camera, but that is a picture of Elvis looking all cute and that.
Oh,
And this absolutely exploded, and people were curious. So they then did the next one. Why Elvis is a twit update. So Elvis firstly decided it would be fun to chase the sheep and lambs and biting them. So the alpacas were moved to another field. Then Elvis decided it would be fun to spit and try jump on the visitors. The final straw was when we had a school visit. Elvis took a real liking to one of the teachers and would not leave her alone. Poor teacher, she no longer likes alpacas. So Elvis is now on naughty step and will be back on attitude and walking training. Wish me luck.
oh, poor Elvis. He wants to have some enjoyment and some fun and be a little hooligan.
So yeah, if you've not already seen it, because I've now spoke it into the universe, it'll probably go there. And listener, look it up. It was so good because I don't believe anything was behind it other than they wanted to post a funny status for their at the time 1,000 followers or however, and it just exploded. And that's a nice work, internet. I like when stuff like that happens. I'm not sure if Elvis is very happy with his twittish nature being broadcast out there, but I guess he can complain. So results, Alan. No alpacas, no more drinks, results.
Right, let's go over to Scotland first, Ian. Tough Mudder. Top three. So these are top three over in Scotland. Females, this is the Infinity Series, Ian, because that's the only one that's timed. Nikki Crumber first. Absolutely great running. I think Nikki's got to be one of the favourites for Worlds that's coming up in like 3 weeks' time, I believe it is, or 2 weeks' time, in fact. Second place, Leanne Vaticus Murphy. Third place, Hannah Adlington Newsom. In the men's, we had Grant Thompson, 74 kilometres, running well. I think he's going to got another 100 back in for him for this Worlds. Chris Garcia, I think he finished third in the endurance series last year. Went really long at Farmyard Jam as well. Well done to him. And Andy Cook in third place. So big shout out to all of them. Do you want to see some Spartan results, because obviously it was Tough Mudder on the Saturday. I guess right, Tough Mudder on the Saturday, and Spartan on the Sunday. Do you want to know some Spartan results?
Go on then.
Spartan results are, I mean, absolutely flat. I think this is Becky Neal's. She's just been on mentioned things, so you already know this. But I think it's Becky's year this year. I think she's absolutely going to completely and utterly do everything. We talk about OCR racing here and all the rigs and everything that come into it, and Becky's been good at this all the time, but she's improved her running so much through the science, I think. And I hope she doesn't mind me saying this, but because she's improved her running, she's now absolutely smashing races, you know, and it's that running in between the obstacles. That is over 70% of most OCR races, running in between obstacles. So well done to her winning. Second place, Blanca Adamova from Czech Republic. Third place, Laura Weiser. I think that's from Switzerland. And then Karen McQuarrie and Kirsty Kennedy in there. I mean, just see the difference there between first and fourth between Becky and Karen. And we're getting 12 minutes. That's how good Becky's running at the moment, at 12 minutes in a super. Over in the men's, go on, sorry, Ian.
I was going to say we should clarify this is a super. This isn't a beast, it's a super. So it's about a 12K race. That's a fair distance in terms of amount of time between Becky and that.
It's without a doubt. I mean, it's amazing. She's stomping it at the moment. In the men, Roman Toth came in from the Czech Republic, winning in time of 52.45, and then 12 seconds behind Morgan Maxwell. Big shout to Morgan there, absolutely flying. Taking it from Tom Tweddle in third place, who beat Jason Brunnock in fourth. Jason's still running well. I mean, absolutely flying. Jason is doing well. And Dasas Ganella over in fifth place. Looks like they had a good race between Jason and Dassos there, both in the Masters category. 55.30, 55.50, 20 seconds behind between them. So, yeah, some absolutely quality racing up there in Scotland, Ian. Pity I couldn't get up to watch it. But, yeah, it was good racing.
It is. Maybe one day we'll have that unlimited budget and we can film stuff like this. But until then, we will, I guess, have to put up with pesky Who's Hot team coming in every so often to break down the race.
We certainly will. We certainly will. I'm going to get a quick shout out to Nuts. So if anyone is down in Nuts this coming week, Nuts Challenge are looking for marshals and they're paying. So we talked about jobs last week at a few other places. Nuts are looking for marshals and they are paying people. So get in contact with Wayne down at Nuts or message Nuts themselves, whatever you want to do, get in contact with them if you fancy marshalling and getting paid for it down that way.
Absolutely. And if you are thinking about joining the Nuts crew, as we know, Alan, they always look after their volunteers in any events. So if payment helps you, incredible, because it is getting hard out there. Yeah, I don't know about you, Alan. Well, you get paid in duck feed, but the rest of us, you know, there's always too much month at the end of the money at this moment in time. I'm actually not sure how we segue to this, so let's just go a cold segue. Gosh, Al, it's too sad at the moment. I think this must be the most sad news we've had for like a 3-month period. We've got to that age, haven't we, where unfortunately people who were there for us when we were finding this sport are passing on. Some before their time. In fact, all of them before the time. I want them all to be immortal. But Alan, do you wanna lead this one?
Yeah, well, I've got to admit, I didn't know this guy, but he was part of the Solo Mudders, I'm told. And Steve this week, I've been told, and like I said, I don't know him, but 51 years old or early 50s. Am I right in saying that?
I believe so. And I should hasten to add, I don't know if Steve that well. We may have perhaps conversed at a race, but I'll be honest, I don't. But he touched a lot of people. He was also a member of Team Rocket, and we all know how there was a certain amount of pride when it came to Team Rocket, wasn't it? Even if they were part of the Solo Mudders, often they'd still be wearing them fantastic Rocket Race shirts. And Steve was one of those who did that, and it's just completely upsetting. And unfortunately, Alan, it wasn't the only passing in the last few days.
Oh, have we had another one? I think we have, haven't we? And I hadn't even seen this one. I didn't. Someone
Yeah,
did mention it to me.
yeah. I do apologize for catching you on the hoof because, listener, I'll be perfectly honest. I didn't get round to updating the notes. So if you see me looking at my phone more than usual recently, that's exactly why it was. But it was Pete Faulkner. Again, I didn't really know him a lot, but he was someone who was in the early days. He may have been a part of Team Innovate, or at least close to them. You know, when Innovate came in, I know he's moved on from the OCR world. He got really into his fell running, his trail running. He passed due to a road traffic accident. It's just what's going on this year, Alan? 2026 has just had more deaths than, well, I can't cope with one death. So I was going to say more deaths than I can cope with. But yeah, it's just completely sad. And thoughts are, of course, with Pete and with Steve and their families.
Too right. So here's a drink to me, and I say, let's have a little drink to them, and all the best. You'll be missed, guys, by everyone.
You absolutely will.
Let's move on to something a little bit more upbeat, Ian. So, recently I did the Russell Bock event where it was like a scavenger hunt stroke ultra from whatever it's in. We talked about it where we trace things. Now, Russell Bock, I've launched this week, Ian, the world's largest medal. They are currently awaiting confirmation from the Guinness World Records, but look at this for a medal. This is called the Austrian. I don't know what it is, but it's a rabbit with antlers and wings and everything else. But they've been trying to do this for 6 years, Ian. The medal weighs 7.5 kilograms. Yeah, and it's 48 centimeters big. You do get an option when you sign up for it, so you can get the standard medal for option, which is £50. This is a bit like a backyard ultra, but it's only for 6 hours, I believe. So you can get a standard medal, or you can get the full 48 centimeter medal for £110. So that's entry fee to like a miniature backyard with a medal. I mean, this is amazing. If you're on YouTube and you're looking at this, this is phenomenal. Just look at the little strip at the top, that holds the medal, little band. You can't have a band like that. They need rope. They need that chain that goes on anchors as they drop oil tankers into the sea just to hold it. This is like a medal and a half, in.
For those of you who are working in old money, 48 centimeters is over a foot and a half.
I mean, 7.5 kilograms. What's that? Is that £14, £15?
I believe so, but I guess by comparison, Alan, Deadly Dozen, the overhead plate carry, the weight for a female athlete is 10 kilograms. So this is only slightly lighter than the weights that Deadly Dozen use for some of their exercises.
It's absolutely crazy. And when I saw it, I was like, do I sign up for it? And I thought, no, I don't want a medal. I don't know how to do with that medal. Some people have medals and they use them as coasters. You could get 4 mates to do this, and you could have them as plate mats, couldn't you? And in the middle of your table, if you're that way inclined. But absolutely phenomenal. While we're talking about backyards, can we talk about a little bit of controversy that's happened this week?
We can. This is the challenger, is it? Do you want me to set the table and then you can give your view on it? Because I know when it comes to ultra running, you've got some opinion. Although you're going to have to remind me of the name of the chap. Do you know it offhand?
Yes, his name's George Rickwood, and he actually won the Brighton Backyard Ultra back earlier this year for the Challenger Series. So he's already won the Brighton one. So he's a quality ultra runner. So yeah, his name's George Rickwood.
Right. Well, George was running in a Challenger Series Backyard Ultra. We got down to the nitty gritty, shall we say? They've gone past the 2 day mark. They're about, I want to say, 52 yards in. Alan, have I got that right?
They've done 53 and he's gone out on his 54th.
Done 53, out on his 54th. During that lap, as it's been described, a member of the public ran alongside him with her phone on, effectively getting a kind of selfie, but doing an interview at the same time. Not sure whether it was meant to be like a professional interview or whether it was just someone just recording it for YouTube or whatever, or for a quick reel. So they did that. They didn't run the whole thing with him, as far as I'm aware. They just ran alongside him for a brief period, got the phone out, had a chat to him, and then went on their merry way. He got back to it on his 54th lap and was told he was DQ'd. And the reason for this was, quote unquote, outside assistance, because as we all know, in a backyard ultra, you're not meant to have any outside assistance. To me, I'd imagine what they're trying to potentially claim is either a combination of this woman was pacing him a little bit, or her being out there chatting to him was kind of geeing him up, making him feel that a little bit better. Because we know, and those of you who do the farmyard jam will know, it's miserable when you get down to the last few races, because you tend to be running alone and it can be a miserable experience. So their view was he got a little bit of an unfair advantage, so they've DQ'd him. Alan, what say you?
Yeah, you're quite right. You got it all right there. They've said that they've said that he's been in breach of Rule 3, and Rule 3 on their statement says no handing over a kit, diction kit, or support of any kind from the start of the whistle until the end of the loop. And they've said he's had support. Now, this is a member of the public. As far as we're aware, this is a member of the public. This is not part of his pit crew. This is maybe a wannabe influencer or something like that, because it's been posted up onto social media of a little interview. And we do that. We've done that at races. We've been running with people and we've talked to them as we're running. Maybe not the top end of the elite races and that, but more of the fun runners. Where does it stop? Because he hasn't purposely broke the rules. So let's just turn around and say, Ian, that me and you are running a backyard ultra and there's only me and you left. Yeah. So I go and I say to Paula, when Ian leaps corral, go and talk to him for a little bit. Yeah. So she goes and talks to you and you get DQ'd and I win. Is that fair on you? And I'm not saying that's what's happened in this case. Yeah, I'm not saying that's what's happened in this case. There's some no cheating's gone on. What I'm saying, he was out of George's hands. Someone has come up and spoke to him. It's out of his hands. What does he do? Tell him to pee off? Tell him to go and do one? Whatever. This is about promoting the sport. Backyard Ultra is not big enough at this moment in time not to need support. And if some influencer wants to come along and talk to him and say, hey, George, how you doing? Whatever, you've run this, you've done whatever, then so be it. Absolutely fantastic. There is getting recognition and the sport's getting the recognition. For me, it's a little bit tough. I mean, it's more tough that he did 53 loops. That's absolutely crazy. What would that be? That would be 200 miles. Over 200 miles he's done. Yeah, I'm not happy about it, Ian. I think it's wrong. Challenge Running Limited, who run the Challenge Series, they've just said rules have to be followed, otherwise the integrity of the event is completely nullified. And these guys are well known. You know, I mean, we're talking about a company here that doesn't just put on this race. It puts on the Thetford 24, the Backyard Ultra, the Suffolk Ultra, which is absolutely massive. You know, Peddars Way Ultra, St Udman Way Ultra. They do so many ultra events. You know, it's shocking that they've had to make this decision, and for me, I don't think they've thought it through. If they've got evidence of something being passed to him, yeah, that's going to help him on the loop, yes, by all means, thank you. It's a goodbye. You're disqualified. But from our understanding and the footage I've seen, there is nothing passed to him. It's just an interview. So I think it's wrong, Ian.
Yeah, I can kind of understand the difficult position the race found themselves in that this happened, how do you react to it? If I had the opportunity, my view would have been to let him keep racing and investigate. Maybe let him know that you are investigating what went on, and then try and establish, was this person someone on his crew? Was it just a randomer who chanced upon it? And that the fact that they knew who George was suggests they weren't quite a randomer. But in the same vein, yeah, they probably need to clamp down on their race and make it clear, look, once the runners go out there, don't talk to them. Because I think sometimes, and we found it, Alan, not with races that we still currently cover, but some races are incredibly naive when it comes to dealing with any kind of media or any kind of influencer. And they don't expect things like this to happen. Whereas me and you absolutely expect it to happen because that's the way of the world. It's all about the content now. So I can appreciate why we did it. I'll be minded to agree with you, Alan, that I think it was a wrong decision, but I do think they should have at least investigated it. And if they decided afterwards to DQ him, fine, DQ him, but don't just pull him out of a race for that moment. Someone who wasn't being pulled out of a race for was someone who got a record, broke a 51-year-old record, Alan. Do you want to set the table on this one?
Yeah, so this is a 13-year-old. It's at the Brooks PR Invitational in Renton, Washington. Angelina Alder ran the mile in 4 minutes 38 and 25, taking down 3 age group records in a single race, and taking down one that stood for such a long time, which was Mary Decker's. Mary Decker's eldest record for years and years and years. And she's taken it down. I think it was 1973. I think it says on here, 1973. Mary Decker set it at 4:40:10, and it stood for 53 years. So you know, and everyone knows Mary Decker from was it the Zola Budd Mary Decker incident at the Olympics, when Zola got tripped with because she wore no spikes. She used to run barefoot, Zola Budd, didn't she?
Yeah, I think your memory's spot on. The weirdest thing about this, Alan, is, and I don't know this 14-year-old, there's half a chance that her parents were around when this record was set.
That's actually true. They probably could have been, yeah. I mean, she's not akin to like breaking records. I mean, this is a second world record that she's broken in 2026, because she set the 12-year-old mark 7 weeks ago before she turned 13. But wow, I mean, 4 minutes 38:25 at that age. Where's she going to stop? You know, this is an athlete in the making, and we see so much of these new athletes now, and we're hearing so much of them because of social media and things like that. You know, coming through. I just hope that we see them continue into as they get into adults, taking on the world as adults, and they keep on developing, so that eventually she's coming down and breaking adult world records as well as age group world records. Because as we know, when you hit the teens, things change. Yeah, I did. I changed. I was a top football player until I hit the teens. No, I wasn't really Ian, but Brian Clough said I wasn't, so that's it.
Yeah, Brian Clough, absolutely. And he probably told you straight. But I guess because she's in America, she won't yet be eligible for like any kind of sponsor deal with Nike or with Adidas or with Puma, because if she is, well, if she takes any money, then that completely voids her NCAA eligibility. She can't run at college. I know they've kind of loosened it a little bit, but I think the general rule stands. However, Alan, there is probably around 100 people who are going to get sponsorship. Let's head to Fitness Racing Corner, because Puma have announced, and we're going to get a lot of stories heading into the Hyrox World Championships. Puma have announced that every podium placer, every solo podium placer at the Hyrox World Championships will become a Puma sponsored athlete in the 26 to 27 season. I hasten to add that it's an invite. They're not going to force them. But yeah, this is on our website. As you can see, Alan spent all of about 5 seconds on the picture.
Can you tell I spent 5 seconds putting that into Copilot?
Absolutely, I can tell. But anyway, AI aside, you can pop on to the UKHXR IG and see some of that took at least 5 minutes. But yeah, anyone who's a podium placer of Hyrox Worlds, you can be a Puma athlete. You get the invite. I should say that a lot of the devil is in the detail, and it's often what isn't said. I don't believe these athletes are going to get paid, but they are going to get Puma apparel opportunities to meet up with elite athletes. And I believe it's similar to they did it in the running as well, didn't they? Project Free, I think it was called, that they did, which was and this is like the Hyrox equivalent of that. Sounds really good. Alan, what say you?
I like it, Ian. I like it. The thing that gets me a little bit about it, and it's just me just playing devil's advocate on this, Ian, is that they call it Project Podium, and they're saying it is become a sponsored athlete, a sponsored Puma athlete. Now, we think, and I'm pretty certain with what we're thinking is correct, that basically they're going to give them free items, free trainers, free shorts, free socks, free shirts, and maybe a few other things, But then they're saying it's not so much prizes, it should become an athlete. So absolutely brilliant and wonderful. But when you're a sponsored athlete, and I know this for a fact from my football days, because I was sponsored by Puma for 2 years for their football boots, you're not allowed to wear any other item of clothing. All right. So if you're signing contracts to do this, so this is maybe a word of warning, read the contract, because you don't want to be putting pictures on social media of you wearing another brand if you are going to be sponsored by Puma. I know a lot of people, when I tried to play football as a youngster, that lost contracts and things like that because they ended up even just training in a different brand was wrong. If you're sponsored by that brand, you've got to wear that brand. You've got to wear it for any video, things like that on social media. It's much higher now, so just be mindful, guys. But I think it's a great idea, Ian. Give people a lot of freebies, if you like. Yeah, I love it. I think it's great. It's an extra incentive to go run, and especially they bring it right down to the age groups as well. So I like it.
And it's adaptive athletes as well. So top 3 in each adaptive category, which is wonderful for the adaptive athletes who may not get a lot of opportunities. We should probably say it is crazy like a fox of Puma, because if these athletes are top 3 in their age group, there's a good chance that some of them will be likely to be Elite 15 athletes next year and you're getting an elite 15 athlete almost for a bargain at this stage. But saying that, you can always negotiate, I guess. Read your contract, see if there's any way of escaping if you do become a good athlete. But for the rest of us, though, Alan, for those of us who are going to Stockholm who might not make the podium, and in some cases aren't even qualified to have a shot at it, they are hosting a midsummer shakeout run on Friday, June the 19th, where the first 100 people to arrive will have a chance to trade their existing Hyrox shoes for a pair of Deviate Nitro Elite Hyrox shoes. That is super cool, and it's less than a 5K run. And you're going to a theme park at the end of it. You're meeting at 8:30, running to a theme park. You get 2 hours of exclusive use. I don't need a shakeout run, but I'm tempted just so I can go and what's it called? Go and maybe bag a free pair of Puma and go on override. So that's that. What I can't confirm, and everyone would have seen this by the time this goes out, I can't confirm whether what you'll be getting is the new color of Puma. Because Alan, have you seen that? We better not put this on screen, listener. Go to UKHXR, it's on there. The new teal looks incredible. I've never been a fan of the reddy pinky ones that they do. I am a fan of these.
I like all of them though. Ian, you know, these Puma Nitros, they are Nitro. It gives them that thing that makes them different. The colours, everything else. I think they look good shoes, Ian. I think for anyone who's into Hyrox and that and wants to be visible, it does remind me a little bit of when, and I'm going back to using another football thing, is when I played football, everyone wore black boots, and all of a sudden back in the 90s we ended up getting some white boots, and we got some red boots, and then now we're a colour where they're all multicolored boots, you know. Back then people wanted to be seen. So, you know, I guess the Nitro people are wearing them at the moment, the ones who can afford them, they want to be seen. I would just a bit of word of warning though with buying shoes and buying new shoes is quite recently I bought some shoes, some new shoes, ready for World's Toughest Mudder, and I've now run in them 3 times, and all 3 times it's given me Achilles tendon problems. So just be mindful of getting new shoes. Take them out, running them first before you go and do a big race. Now mine are going to be put to one side. I'm not doing World's Toughest Mudder in them. I've now got to find a backup plan, and we're only 2 weeks away. I'm going to go back to my old trusted North Face and Innovates, which I did last year. So yeah, so just be mindful if you're getting new shoes, guys. Don't go out and race in them unless the shoes you've tried in the past, because you could end up with bigger problems than you need.
Absolutely. And speaking of big problems, over the weekend, Hyrox New York, and listener, I apologize at this stage because it will be a long episode. Blame who's hot. It's all their fault. But Hyrox New York had to cancel waves. They had to cancel the Pro Doubles event on the Saturday because it got a little bit wet. It was an outdoor event. And more worrying, there was thunderbolts and lightning, which were very, very frightening. So they had to cancel all of those waves. And Alan, how would you react if you were Hyrox to having to cancel waves?
See, this is a tough one, Ian. Now, if Hyrox have had to cancel waves, their insurance will cover it. So they should be able to refund all of their athletes if they've had to cancel it. But saying that, it's an act of God. Yeah. So would an act of God cover their insurance? I don't know. It's a tough one because being a race director myself, if we got lightning and we got thunder, our event is cancelled while that's on. Thunder, lightning, thank you guys. Everyone, please come off course. There's no running. We postpone it until it's all clear. That's standard for us. That's in our health and safety and everything else that we've always had in there. If you've got to cancel a whole event, I've got to say, if I was Hyrox, I'd be saying to people, come give them a free ticket. But it's a tough one. And I say that because they've got the funds to do it. they have got the funds to do it. A small event, out there that has to cancel last minute, they haven't got funds to do it. And should they give free tickets? Yes, but if they've already had costs, they can't always do it, and that's a bit of a negative. But Hyrox, they've got the funds, they've got the money in the bank. Give them all free race somewhere.
I think that's fair, and that's actually what they've done. They have sent out codes for effectively it's a volunteer code type deal where they can have a future race. They're going to get a early access to the next race, which I think is Dallas, which I'm not convinced that's the best thing because if you race in New York and your next event is Dallas and that's where you're going to get early access to, you might not want that, and then you've got a potential chance of not using your code. So if I was Hyrox, this would my only constructive criticism. I would say that these people get early access until they use their code. I'm not sure how you do that, but I'd do it that way because I don't think everyone who's gone to New York is going to do Dallas. Ideally, they probably want to go back to New York or failing New York, Chicago. Chicago is it's not close, but it's
Also,
closer. Yeah, or if they're doing Philadelphia, something like that. But yeah, fair play to Hyrox for doing that. You mentioned funding there. Speaking of funding, as this is coming out, the Deadly Dozens crowdfund has gone live. So if you weren't listening last week, they are raising £1 million by selling 20% of the equity of Deadly Dozen. These are real shares. You, in theory, will get oh, words just gone out of my head, Alan. What dividends? That's the word I'm
dividends.
looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dividends in theory, but dividends are never guaranteed because companies don't always pay them. And you can do it if you wish. So have a look. If it works for you, do it. But be aware of the risks. There's always risk when it comes to investing, isn't there, Alan?
There is. And if you invest in, do you get a discount on a certain book that they're releasing that's apparently got some forward by some well-known person that I know?
I'm not sure because as we're recording this at 5 a.m. on the Sunday, sorry, 5 a.m. on the Friday, I lost track of where we were. It's not gone live. And as a result of it not going live, I don't know what goodies you get. It would be really cool if you got the current best-selling book at Amazon or the second best-selling book, which is Jason's brand new books about Deadly Dozen. And the second best-selling has got a foreword from Yancey Cope in it. So,
Nice one.
yay, well done, Yancey. The first best-selling has got a foreword by me. So I'm going to say that's exactly the reason it's #1 best-selling.
Published author. You're a published author now. You need that on your CV now. Published author.
But all kidding aside, thank you, Jason, for asking the show. It's been a real honor to do it. If you want to find out more about Deadly Dozen and actually just training that, you can do worse than picking it up. That book is currently a tenner. He's also got one which is more of like a history of fitness racing, which I think is £7 because that's a slightly smaller book. And fair play to Jason. He's had this project in mind for a few years now. It's come to fruition. So well done.
You know what I
Speaking
think we
of
should do?
yeah,
I think we should buy one, Ian, yeah, and get you to sign it, and we'll get Jason to sign it as well, and we'll give it away to one of our patrons, a signed copy.
that is a great idea. Yeah, let's do that. And if we can figure out a way to get Jancy to sign it, maybe in the future we could do it for his as well.
I love it. I'm loving the idea. Signed copies.
Absolutely, we can do that. Unfortunately, I don't think it'll arrive in time for Deadly Dozen Liverpool this week. So if anyone's there, come and say hi. I should be there. All things going well. I talked about projects there. Final bit of fitness racing news. A little project. Deka and Deadly Dozen have teamed up, Alan. So how do you imagine that's going?
This is weird, this, because you've put this on the notes, and I was like, really? We've got like Deka and Deadly Dozen, two competitors teaming up. And then I thought about it and I thought, well, hang on a minute here. I can actually see this because Deadly Dozen is growing fast as a race. You know, it's going global and it's probably better known than Deka. You know, and that's just my thoughts. I think Deadly Dozen is probably better known than Deka. It's getting more people to it than Deka. So I like the idea that Deka are saying, hang on a minute, or Spartan is saying, hang on a minute here, we've got Deka. It's been a bit of Joe's fantasy to grow this thing, but they haven't really grown it. They haven't grown it like I think they expected to grow it and jump in like Hyrox have. So now they're teaming up with Deadly Dozen. I think this, a Deka Deadly Dozen partnership, is going to flourish in. I think it's going to absolutely flourish.
It's definitely a sign of, and we've praised Jason a lot on the show. The reason being he does a lot of good, he deserves praise. As part of his gym, the Deadly Dozen Institute, they are a Deka affiliate, they're a Hyrox affiliate, they're of course the Deadly Dozen affiliate. But this team up is at Manchester. Sadly, no good for you. Well, it might be good for you, Alan. Are you going to Yorkshire?
Not at this moment in time, although I do have an Infinity ticket, but I've got
Well,
another Ultra booked, so who knows?
well, you are busy, but anyone who's not busy on the 25th of July, you can race the Deadly Dozen Wave. And I'll explain it. Race the Deadly Dozen Wave, use code Deka Deadly MCR to receive exclusive early bird pricing for the 1 p.m. wave. All entries in this wave will receive a special Deadly Jewel patch, and anyone who beats Jason in that wave will receive a free Deadly Dozen race entry for a race of their choice.
Wow. Love it, Ian. Love it. I love things like that. They're brilliant.
Yeah, I'm tempted, although there's no way I'm beating. Well, if I beat Jason, that means he's giving away a lot of races because it would probably have involved him tripping up and being carted off to hospital and DNF.
Is he allowed
So,
outside support? Because we know people who can help with outside support.
well, I should try and interview him, shouldn't I?
Exactly.
Oh God. Right. Last couple of news and notes, Alan, just to wrap things up. Firstly, we've got some boss news, so let's quickly cover that off. I'll mention it. The British OCR Youth Championships and British OCR Youth Championships and Storm race are confirmed for October 17th at Forders Gym. People love the Storm race. I
Part of the
love that
series.
British Youth. Yep, it is a series race. I love that the OCR Youth Championships is going to Forders because you've never been yet, have you, Alan? We've not took you there.
We haven't, no. We're tempted to though this time, October 17th. I'm tempted to make the trip.
Yeah, if we can, let's go. For two reasons. One, because Forders is a incredible place. You have to visit. Yes, it's mainly fitness racing, but it has a super cool OCR. I guess short form OCR. It's a 3K course, I believe, but it's got some old school, including they call it Dong Dangler at Tough Mudder, yeah.
Yeah.
At Forders, that is a dangle over some bramble.
Oh,
Proper old school. That is motivation for not dropping.
oh yeah. Oh, I've got shivers
They,
down my
they,
throat thinking about it.
they I've said it now. Maybe they'll cut it back before then, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't count on it if I'm honest, listener. But the other reason, October 17th, on the way back, we can go and visit a a place which has a lot of old school lore when it comes to OCR.
Oh, tell me more. Tell me more.
Do you remember the Scorpion race?
I do, yes, yes.
Well, obviously the race is no longer there, but do you remember you used to cross the road for the second half of the race?
Yes, I do.
Well, that area now is now a farm. As in, well, it was always a farm, but it's one of these play farms. And in October, you can go pumpkin picking.
Oh, a bit of pumpkin picking. I always go picking me, because I love carving my pumpkins.
So yeah, at the old home of Scorpion Ray, across the road, as you ran down that the paved road, there was a building in front of you. That is now, I guess we call them play farms now, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They do.
And every October they do pumpkin picking. So, and you can also get some veg too, Alan. You're talking, see, we cycle all the way back to the start of the show. We're talking about fresh veg. Last time we went, we got some pumpkins, we got some carrots. We may have even got a Swede. I can't remember. And you pick it yourself. It's great. So go to the storm race, have fun at Forders. On the way back, stop off at junction 13 of the M6, if memory serves, and go and pick yourself a pumpkin.
Like it. Like it. We've got one more bit of news left, Ian.
Yeah, you can take this one.
So on Wednesday of this week, guys, we did a flash competition for our Patreons. It went live at 12 o'clock and it closed at 5:30. And all you had to do, if you was a paid patron, because only paid patrons could see the post, you just had to say you wanted a ticket. Because I personally bought a ticket for Total Warrior last year before WTM was booked. So I've given it away, Ian. I've given it away. And Steve Mesham is the winner. It was the only person who jumped on. No one else jumped on. Everyone else must have been at work, but it was a flash competition. Winner of Total Warrior ticket. So taking place the same weekend as World's Toughest Mud. I think that's why a lot of people didn't jump on it. But yeah, we've got a ticket there. Steve, I hope you've got it by now. I have contacted you and that, but congratulations, Steve. Have fun at Total Warrior.
Have fun at Total Warrior. And Steve, if you're talking tight, feel free to get in touch with us. We'd love to either get you on the podcast to give a race review, or you could just send some details, because it's always fun to hear about people's experiences of races.
It is. And I'm going to see if we can give a Infinity ticket away for Yorkshire, Ian, because I bought Harley one and Harley can't run it now. So I'm going to see if I can transfer it free of charge, and we'll give that away as well. Coming up, watch out for the flash competitions if you're a Patreon.
Perfect. And Alan, it has been a long episode. I am completely blaming Becky and Wil. Absolutely and utterly pesky who's hot. We had a lot of news and they came in. But anyway, all jokes aside, I hope you've enjoyed it today, listener. But it's goodbye from me.
And listeners, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching whatever you've done. I hope you enjoy them. We don't often do them this long, but I'm sorry. You take care, you stay safe, and we'll catch you soon. Bye.